Creating an object from a class template is often called instantiating an object. That's because we create an instance of an object. The object doesn't exist until we actually create it. It's completed in a program that includes our main method. It is often called the driver program. And we use this template in order to create an object. This is what our line of code is going to look like. We have the object type, which is going to be the name of your class. We have an identifier, which is a variable name for that class. We have the new keyword. We have the object type repeated again. And then we have a parentheses because we are calling an action method that will create that object. Let's see how this looks in code. In your coding environment, if you have not already done so, you will need to create a new file, and we will name it shape driver. So we often name it the name of the object that we're creating. We're going to create a shape, and then we follow it with the word driver to indicate that's where our main method is. And then we create a main method inside here. And so once we have that set up, then we can go ahead and start creating our objects inside here. I'm going to create a new shape. I'm going to call it a triangle, and I'm going to use the new keyword, and we say shape, and we have our shape created. We can't do anything with our shape yet. And so we have to use our setter methods in order to set all the attributes. So if we looked at our shape class again, we are going to use these setter methods to set the attributes for our method. So if, for example, we're going to say triangle dot set, and here's also a way to know if you've got your class set up correctly. You'll notice when I hit that dot operator that all of the methods populated, and as soon as I started to type set, it pulls up the name of the methods that we can then use. So I'm going to set the name of our shape to be triangle. Next, and I'm going to use, if I use the tab key there, it starts to fill in some stuff automatically. I'm going to set the color next, and our color brings in a string, and so we are going to make it yellow. And last, we will set the size. So now that I have used my setter methods in order to set these attributes, I can get them or print them out using the getter methods. So I could do an output statement and just say my shape is a, and then I could say dot, I have to use the name of the object, and then I use the dot operator, and I'm going to say get name, not color, but name. If I execute this code, we should be able to see, I have to close off one more parentheses there. We're going to see that my shape should have been named triangle with my output. And then I can use my additional getter methods in order to get all of the attributes. So I could repeat this, but getting all of the additional attributes. But if you remember, I also had a method that was called print shape. So if I use my print shape method, instead of outputting using my getter method here, I'm going to execute this code and use my print shape method, which prints out all my attributes. So how this is working, or what's happening here, is once I create this shape, when I use this dot operator, it transfers to this definition of this object, and it uses the methods that I have defined here. And so when I called that print shape method, it is using this method. It printed out all of my attributes. It's using the instance level variable name. I clicked on name. If I hover up here, you're going to see where it highlights every instance variable, and way at the beginning, it's using my instance field or instance variable name. So when we create a driver program and we tell it to create a shape, it is using the structure and all of the methods that we set up within this class. And so that is how you can initially create an object, use the setter methods to set the attributes, and then use the getter methods to print the attributes. If you did not create a print shape method, you could repeat this output statement with all of your different other attributes, and you could do something like color and then get, you have to use the name of the object first, triangle dot get color, and that would output then the color. So depending on whether you have a print shape method, you might need to use a series of output statements like this with your getters. And sometimes you don't want all of the attributes, so many times we don't use that print shape method because we only want to look at or investigate a couple of the attributes, or we might just want to see how changing an attribute affects that single attribute. So that shows you how to create a shape, how to minimally use the setter methods to set the attributes, and then how to access the shape and use its getter methods to print out the values for the shape's attributes.